Welcome to Calvin's Got Game. I'm Calvin.
I'm Lewis.
And today we are going to give you our review and rating of Betrayal House on the Hill. Betrayal House on the Hill is a thematic game. And I'll let Lewis tell you a little bit more about it. Take it away, Lewis.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Which I always get that title wrong.
I don't know why.
Doesn't sound right. It is a 2004 game published by Avalon Hill. 3 to 6 players, 60 minutes roughly to play. Ranked 716 on CGG, should be higher, my opinion. And it's weighted 2.4 on the game.
It's got some haters out there, Lewis.
Yes.
It really has some haters, and I don't understand that. But to each their own.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over this. What we're going to do is we're going to go over this game. We're going to talk a little bit about gameplay. We're going to talk about replayability, theme, whether it's fun or not, game length, and components. We're either going to give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a neutral. And at the end of the video, you'll see a graph of what we all put. And then you'll also get our rating, what we rated the game. So I'm going to give you a little overview of Betrayal House on the Hill. Betrayal House on the Hill. Somebody had mentioned in a post one time, if you had to make a title for a book of your marriage, what would it be? And I put Betrayal House on the Hill. Not that my wife's ever betrayed me, but I thought it was funny. So anyway, not that I know of. So just kidding, guys. Betrayal House on the Hill is a horror-themed thematic game. In this game, you guys are called to a house. You don't know why, but you're all together. And what's really weird in this is there's a little girl, a little boy, a teenage girl, a jock, and an old professor guy and a priest.
Yep.
Where did they come from? Right? So how did they all end up at this house? So it's a little weird on that theme, part of it, but it's a little weird. But in this game, you are going through the house trying to explore why you were called there. And doing this, you're going to find different events that happen. You're going to find some omens. And eventually what will happen is there's what they call the haunt. And when the haunt happens, one person is going to betray you. That's why it's called
Betrayal
House on the Hill. They still can't get that name.
They
That's why it's called Betrayal House on the Hill. So you then at that point in time you find out why you're there. And this game is kind of unique, and like I said, there's a lot of haters out there because some of the things they don't like about it, and there's a lot of people that do love it. So we're going to get into gameplay. Lewis, you want to talk about how you think gameplay works for you, and you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I will be starting right off the bat, a thumbs up for me. And it is the unpredictability of when the game will end. That's what I like about it. Because you might be going and it be the third round. And next thing you know, an omen card comes up and
you don't roll enough dice
and the betrayer is revealed. So, or you could be going and it is 30 minutes into the game, nothing has happened, and next thing you know, it started. The betrayer is revealed. So that figure of that traitor in the game, not knowing who it is, when it's going to happen, it is the unpredictability of the game, which I like. And folks that look at this game and look at 3 rule books on how to play, it is not an overwhelming rule books, because 2 of those books are not even used to explain the game. It's not being used until the traitor is revealed, and you don't even read the whole thing right off the bat. Wow. Yeah, and so I like the gameplay because it is really straightforward, and the unpredictability of when the game ends, sooner or later, it's different every time.
Right. Well, the gameplay for me is just that you're exploring a house. Mm-hmm. And you want to explore the house as quickly as possible because, like Lewis said, if the haunt happens really early, you don't have enough rooms. And if you need one of those rooms in there, then you've got to stay away from whatever's happening and try to find rooms that you need to get the artifact or whatever you need out of it. Or you haven't drawn enough item cards to get the items that you need to ward these things off. So this game has such... It's just fun. And like Lewis said, it's got... rule book and 2 other books. One's a survival guide, and one is the Betrayer's Guide. Yeah. So the Betrayal take his book, or most times survivors or the survival guide. The folks will stay at the table so they can see the board and everything. And the Betrayer goes off, reads his part, and I think this is where a lot of people get kind of iffy on the game because there are some in there that. There's 50 different endings to the game, unless you buy Widow's Walk, which gives it another 50. So now you have 100 endings to the game. And it can be a little wonky on some of the scenarios. And some of the scenarios are cooperative. Some of them are a betrayer. There will be a betrayer. And the funny part is, Lewis is talking about you don't know who that betrayer is. Well, guess what? You don't know if you're going to be the betrayer.
Yes.
So you could be the betrayer. You just don't know it yet. So I think that the gameplay of that really brings the game out for me. So I enjoy it quite a bit. And what about replayability, Lewis? Okay. Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead and do on that.
All right, so replayability to me, I think the game has quite a bit of replay. Oh, and I'm giving gameplay a thumbs up. So I'm also giving replayability a thumbs up because with all the tiles that come in the game, you have 3 different layers of the house. A 4th one if you have Widow's Walk.
Right.
So, depending on how those tiles come out, where they lay out, kind of makes the house different every time. So, replayability to me is very high. And depending on what character you choose, you can do different things in the game. You have different attributes, different abilities. So, the game can change from time to time when you play it. So the replayability for me is quite high, and I give it a thumbs
up. For me, same thing, a thumbs up on the replayability. You touched up on this, having 50 possible outcomes.
Well, and 100 if you have Widow.
Yeah, and 100 if you have the Widow expansion pack. But also, who's the character? You might be playing without that character in the game.
True, sometimes, yeah.
So that will make another difference in the game. So you have 6 different characters to play, and let's say only 3 of you are playing the game, and you didn't pick the one with the character. That is the Betrayal. So guess what? A little bit more different on those chances. So you might, on the high chance, you might have 200 different outcomes on this game, because of the characters of the. I won't bother you with all the specific numbers, but it is a little bit over 200. But yeah, the playability and how the layout the tile's going to be, you never know where you're going to end up on that, and the cards.
Right.
The omen cards.
What cards you draw, the omen cards or the item cards, what you draw. You never know what you're going to get.
Right. So for me, it is another thumbs up.
Awesome. What about theme, Lewis?
Theme on this holds the theme good. And I do give it a thumbs up, barely, because, and I'll talk about the why in later on in one of the other categories, but it keeps you on the edge, on the suspense of who's the traitor. It keeps you in the revealing of the house. The theme of it is still sticking with which room going to be revealed, what's in the room, do we trust this person, do we take this item card from this person or not, what's really going on, the uncertainty, the suspense. It really keeps you involved into this game. So for me, it is a thumbs up.
Good. I also give it a thumbs up for the theme. I think the theme, it comes through really well of not knowing why you're here at the house, and discovering the different rooms. It just gives you a thematic deal of holy mess. There's a ghost coming from the walls, and it's whatever's happening, and it's reaching out for you, and you have to roll a dice to find out what happens. I think the theme really jumps out, and it works well. And then when you get to the haunt, it gives you a sense of, man, we got to figure out what's going on, and we got to stop whatever's happening. So I think the theme really does shine through for Betrayal House on the Hill. I know a lot of people complain about some of it, but I think theme is fantastic in this game, and that's all I can say about it. I think it's a great game, and not just to play it on Halloween either, or the spooky season. Play it anytime you want. It's a great game for theme. All right, let's talk about fun. Okay. Is it fun? Well, you already know I get my eyes light up every time I talk about Betrayal House on the Hill. It is absolute fun. It's always a good time playing it. People around the table mostly have a great time. There's one or two that complain about, well, I didn't understand that rule. Well, you may have to house rule a few things because you didn't understand something in one of the books. And that's okay. As long as it makes the game fun and enjoyable for you, do what you need to do. But the game's always fun for me, and I enjoy it immensely.
Fun for me is a thumbs up too. I like the complex of it is medium for me. The strategy is also down in the middle, a medium. The luck of it is, for me, is in the medium because you never know. The mechanics are very low on this. So for me, it's a straight board on there. It's very easy to pick it up. I do recommend that if for a new player, you bring in a new player in the game, if finds out that his character is the traitor, switch it up for him. Yeah. Don't let him be, or her, be the traitor. Because that's going to be just...
It can make their gaming experience terrible.
Yes. So, yes, if it finds out he or she is the traitor, switch up with him or her.
Because you can do that. You don't have to make the person who revealed the haunt or whatever it says on the book who the traitor is. You can choose someone. So if you know someone's uncomfortable with reading something and comprehending, or reading a book and trying to figure it out, it's their first time to play, man, don't do that to them because they won't have a good time.
And that's one of my major things on this. And to folks that are playing this game and bringing somebody new, you have played it 1,000 times, you be the traitor. Don't let a new person do that. We want them to enjoy the board game. Yeah, not feel left out or all alone on this.
Right. Or feel like they've messed up the game for everybody else because they didn't understand. We don't want that. We want people to have a good time. And I haven't played this game 1,000 times yet, but I'm hoping to. I'm hoping to someday. Like I said, you have to have 3 people to get it out. So once again, it's a little harder for me to get it to the table. All right. Lewis, game length.
Game lengths. For me, it is going to be a neutral on this because it can be too long if the cards are not coming up. I see he said it just, like Kevin says, the paralysis. Folks thinking too much. It shouldn't be. This game is a good pace game, but depending who you play with, it can be too long. Or for some, it can be too short. Because let's say you reveal 5 rooms only, and that card comes up, and we can't meet the requirements, and here's the traitor. So now it's all scrambling, trying to figure it out. So yes, it can be too short if it doesn't, the cards don't play in your favor, or can be too long if you have those folks that just think too much. And yes, I'm being a player every now and then on some board games. Yes, I admit it, Calvin. That will overthink it. Not every board game. I have gotten better.
I'm just messing with you. I don't care.
That overthinks it. So it is for me a neutral because of that you gotta let folks know, especially a new player, that don't overthink it. Just do A or B and let's go on that. But yet they're also a new player, so you gotta help them out a little bit.
You got to hold their hand a little bit. Yes. But I think that, game length for me is a thumbs up because I don't care if it happens early. I don't care if it happens a little later because I'm enjoying the game that much. So if it happens early, I just know that, man, we've got to do a lot more stuff. We can't just be running and trying to beat whatever this thing is because we need a certain room, so we got to find it. Everybody starts searching for rooms. And so it becomes a race almost to try to beat this thing before the timer runs out. Some of them have timers. Some of them just have to carry out a certain thing to get the haunt done. But for me, game length, it doesn't matter how long or short it is. I absolutely enjoy this game. So I think game length, it doesn't matter to me. When I'm immersed in Betrayal House on the Hill, that's what I'm thinking about. So game length to me, it doesn't matter. And you may get somebody who goes, well, should I go here or should I do this? It really doesn't matter at this point. Just pick one and we'll figure it out whether it was good or bad. We'll figure out whether you should have done the other later. And if it was, then, we messed up.
Yeah.
But that just gives us a chance to finish it early and start a new one.
Yeah.
But I think game length is just fine in this one. All right, let's talk about components, Lewis. Components for me. I'm going to give this a thumbs up with a caveat. I do like the little painted miniatures. Mm-hmm. They come pre-painted, which was fantastic. Why they didn't do that with another game, which I will not mention, that is a Betrayal game that has a cartoon character in it. I don't know why they didn't do that with that game. It's beyond my comprehension. But anyway, the other caveat is the old cards had these clips you put on the cards. And sometimes they were too tight, the character cards. Mm-hmm. For the attributes. Sometimes they were too tight. They would tear the card.
Yeah.
They were hard to move back and forth. But there was an upgrade pack that came out with dials.
Yes.
Absolutely love them. And with that, if you have those dials and for the characters, they're much nicer. Now they can slip every now and then and move, but I don't have a problem with that. Just don't be picking it up over and over again and slapping it around, right? It'll stay put. So the components to me, if you buy that little pack, the little bonus pack or whatever it's called, upgrade pack, I think that the components are great at that point. So I give it a thumbs up. But if you have the old standard, try to find the upgrade pack because you'll love it. And it comes with green dice. It's a green dice. It's themed like the board game. It's green and yellow instead of the old white and black dice.
For me, and I go by from where it was in the box, not buying anything extra. So mine is going to be neutral on this.
You buy extra for everything else, but just kidding.
Well, I don't have the game.
I understand. Yeah. I get it. But I do, and you play with mine.
I know, but I'm looking at folks that don't buy
Okay.
So, I'm giving it neutral. My wife said you should put a thumbs up. And no, it is not a thumbs down part. It is a neutral part for me. Like Calvin said about the cards, that little clip that comes on and off can tear it up. That is
or they just fall off completely. Yeah. They won't even stay on the card.
Yeah, so. And that is
aggravating.
Very aggravating. It's a downside on that. I agree with you. The miniatures, they should have done that to the other one.
Yeah, which we won't mention.
We won't mention, and because you can tell who it is easily. There are some board games that have miniatures you can't tell who it is because they're not painted or they're not unique enough to tell the separation of each one. The tiles, the good cardboard on the tiles.
Yeah, for sure. Thick.
Yes. Good cards. The Omen cards and the...
They all have a nice linen finish.
Yes, yeah. I like that. The thing is, and I know this is picky, but is the artwork on the... Yes, you can give me that look,
I'm going to give you that look because I think the artwork fits into the theme of the game.
Yes, it does, but it's still lacking a little bit. Being a little bit...
Like what?
Just the...
Please elaborate.
I will. The cardboard for the rooms and everything.
Right.
That's what's lacking for me on
But
that.
what would you add to it, Lewis? I mean, it has like, if it's the gardens, it'll have gardens and a fountain in it with some brick. If it's an operating room, it's got a bloody floor in there. I mean, what do you want?
It just, for me, it's not dark enough.
Okay.
Not dark. For me, it needed to be a little bit more darker on this.
It's just a haunted house, Lewis. It's not the death house, right? It's just a haunted house.
Right, it is. But even with...
I get your point. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's like Arkham Horror, the card game.
It has a really nice.
Yeah, it really nice card. And the cards gives you that dark, menacing look. And not that the rooms doesn't, it just could be a little bit more darker. Just a little bit more darker on there. I know it's a little bit picky on this, but for me, and you know how I like dark games.
You do. I like horror themed games too.
And
I got one I think you're gonna like that's coming.
So it's just the little room cards could have been a little bit more darker on that. Some folks would complain about the 2 outer books about they should have done something with the coloring and the book. I don't mind that, okay, how it is. It's fine for me. Fine. I don't know why they're talking about that. It's just the room cards, for me, could have been a little bit more darker.
I think the room cards look like a haunted house. I don't know. I've been to a lot of haunted houses, and it has the cobwebby looking, old furniture kind of looking stuff. So, but if Lewis wants it darker, somebody make a darker board game for Lewis. I mean, but yeah, no. The only other thing I would say on components is this game does have a lot of small chits, a lot of them, from monsters, trap doors, secret doors, tunnels, or whatever it is that you have to put out on the board.
That's right.
And sometimes they're hard to see. Yeah. So, but I don't have a problem with it as components. It does have a lot of them, so if you don't like games that have a lot of those, then this might not be for you. But with all that being said, I'm going to give you my rating of the game, what I rate the game. And this game hits all my buttons. It hits the cooperative, semi-cooperative button for me. It hits the horror theme for me. It hits replayability components, all that. So this is a 10 for me.
For me, even with my 2 neutrals on there, it will be a 9.
A 9?
A 9.
Wow.
I rounded up, okay?
We like rounding up, Lewis.
I rounded up to a 9.
Yeah, a 9 is a great rating. Yeah. I think that this game, for all the haters out there that don't like some of the problems with the scenarios or the haunts, make a house rule. Yeah. Get over it. I don't know what else to tell you. Get over it. It's a great game. Quit ruining it for other people.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I know that the new Betrayal House on the Hill 3rd edition, I have the 2nd edition, and this is the one we're talking about.
Yes.
The 3rd edition is a little bit different. It follows more of the other one we were talking about with the unpainted miniatures and the cartoon character. It works on card system of you pick a scenario and that's the one you're doing. In this one, you don't do that. And I don't think it has near as many endings in the 3rd one as you do in the 2nd edition with the Widow's Walk. So right. I'm just saying, if you want it where there's a lot more stuff, I would recommend getting the 2nd edition. If you want a little bit easier, probably, and probably more cohesive, I would probably go with the 3rd edition.
Yep.
So, anything else you want to say about Betrayal House? You want to bash anything else about it?
I'm not bashing. It's a great game. It's fabulous. It is, and it just having you need 3 players for the game. That's what's holding it back for me.
That hurts me too, because I don't get it to the table near as much as I want. I would play it every day if I had 3 players or 4 players that would play it with me every day. I'd play it every day, at least once. Well, every weekend, because I can't play it every day. Sometimes I have to work.
Right.
All right, I have to work all the time, but I don't have time.
You do it when you retire.
Someday. Guys, that's Betrayal House on the Hill for us. Let us know what you think about Betrayal House on the Hill. Do you think it's broken? Do you not like it? Do you think our opinion was fair? Do you think our rating was fair? Mm-hmm. We'd love to hear it. Also, we need 69 more subscribers. Hit that subscribe button for me. It's painless. It won't shock you. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, shame on you. Hit that subscribe button to help us out. We need it. And we're going to give away a game if we hit 500 subscribers. And when we do, we'll only give it away to subscribers in the 48 contiguous states. So, with that being said, Lewis, you have anything to add? I'm scared to ask you.
No, nothing other than the thumbs up on the if you like the video. And if you don't like the video, oh well.
You can put a thumbs down if you don't like it. It's not going to bother me. But if you put a thumbs up, it does help us with our
algorithm.
Thank you. The algorithm. Thank you, Lewis, because I couldn't think of what it was. The algorithm for getting us up on YouTube more often when it comes around. So we do appreciate that. Also, I think that's it. I hit that tagline, Calvin. Remember, get a board game to the table, spend time with your friends and your family. And thanks for watching Calvin's Got Game.